Alright, so now that I've completed Dark Souls 3 in its entirety, both DLCs, base game, optional bosses, done with the game, never going back, moving on with my life. So I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna review each of the bosses in the DLC into their own quick little short videos. I mean, essentially I'd be talking about the same thing except it being one long massive video. So this way you get more content quicker and it's easier on me and on the footage I have to record. And really the opinion people end up having with the DLC basically reflects the quality of the bosses. So first we're gonna talk about Darkeater Midir. Dragons are always cool. Dragon is a quintessential Dark Souls boss type. Midir's actually got 4 legs and then wings and then a second set of wings, so I guess technically he'd be a drake, not a dragon, because dragons are the hands, are the wings, right? Correction. Draconic monsters are categorized by the amount of legs they have, not the amount of wings. And the research I've done, having 4 wings does not change the classification of a dragon. I'm looking it up now. Drake doesn't appear to have a real difference. That's just a term. The real difference appears to be Wyvern versus dragon. So if it has 4 legs and then wings, so 6 limbs total, it's a dragon. If it has 2 legs and then the wings are attached to the front legs, like Smaug in the second Hobbit movie, then it's a wyvern. Darkeater Midir would be a 4-winged dragon. The first great thing about Midir, and really all the bosses in the entire DLC, is the lack of a gauntlet. I think From Software is finally realizing that stupid annoying runs to the bosses through tons of enemies is not what makes the game fun. I'll have the time on screen right here. All you gotta do is hop down an elevator, roll through a secret passage. I mean, there's a couple of illusory walls, but you only have to do that once, and then you fall down and then enter the arena. I gotta say, I'm really bothered by the fall into the arena though. I mean, like, it's better than Nito, where you would fall and then you just start the boss off with damage to your health. So at least they didn't do that. But at the same time, why does falling here not do damage and falling everywhere else in the game does do damage? This is an ungodly distance. This is like half a mile down. This DLC's done that quite a bit with all the, you know, the messages like, take the plunge, you will not die, straight from Software. And I gotta say, that breaks my immersion. Like I said, I'm glad I don't have to take damage going into the boss room, but at the same time, why does falling ever have damage anywhere else then? The game is breaking its own laws of physics and it's stupid. Now, if you fell into a pool or like a poofy pile of ash or something, give me any attempt at some realism to why this fall isn't killing me, and I'll be like, fine, whatever. But he just falls, a little bit of a crouch and wince, and then he keeps on going. Like, really?
This guy is complaining about immersion in a game where you come back from the dead, fight dragons, and throw fireballs?
Great argument. Great, fantastic argument, by the way. Just because it's a medieval fantasy world doesn't mean you shouldn't have a consistent rule of gravity. The arena itself is pretty much a carbon copy of Sin the Slumbering Dragon from the Dark Souls 2 Crown of the Sunken King DLC. And you'll notice that about this entire boss. You have a dragon in a giant underground cavern, which, I mean, it's not original, but it's certainly cool, and I'll take that over a giant tree with balls all over its face any day. Suck it, curse-rotted Greatwood. Probably the worst boss in the whole game. But the visual design of Darkeater Midir himself is so cool. He's a dragon with 2 sets of wings and there's holes in him, so he's clearly been around forever. And he's all, like, covered in purple, scaly crystal things. I gotta say, the boss track, though, isn't anything special. I was not consistently humming it. I don't remember the theme. I don't remember the melody. I mean, I like the genre, you know, it's intense choir music, but when every boss in the DLC has incessant chanting, choir music, and cymbal clashes coming together, they all just blur together for me, and I can't distinguish them. Sin the Slumbering Dragon had an amazing boss track. Midir also seems to be the boss that everybody's whining about, like, oh, it's so hard, his health bar's so big, oh my god, ah! But really, that's only because you're constantly swinging at him in the angles, and it just goes tink. Like, the best and really only piece of advice you need is hit him in the face. Hit him in the face. Not most of the time, not some of the time, but exclusively. Does like 5 times the damage. Standing in front of his face also baits mostly his swipe attacks, which are much easier to dodge than his crazy fire breath breathe underneath him. So if you're standing right in front of his nose and just consistently hitting him there, you only have about 3 different attacks you have to deal with. And if he does the lean up and breathe fire down thing, all you gotta do is roll back a little bit. Sometimes he'll fly across the arena, just run left underneath the fire. And sometimes he'll do that, you know, charge attack where he just keeps attacking even though you're already behind him forever and ever and ever. And there's like fire breath in there. You dodge past that once, just remember where he ends up and then run around where he's going to be and you get more hits in. The other piece of advice, obviously, is don't summon. 1, if you summon, you get like twice the health bar. And 2, if you summon, you can't hold his aggro. Midir's going to be switching between who he attacks, and then you won't be able to control what kinds of attacks he uses. So you'll get all of them, whereas I, just in front of his nose, was able to go several playthroughs without ever seeing the purple laser of death undodgeability bullshit. So if you just do that, his health bar is totally manageable and it's really not that hard of a boss. So Midir being a dragon, his most intimidating attacks are the fire ones. 1, because the animation for the fire is kind of shitty, and you can't tell where the attack hitbox starts and ends, and also because if he starts breathing fire everywhere, like, it'll leave little flames, and if you roll into those little flames left behind, it will knock you down, it'll stun you, which I think is stupid. I mean, if you're hit by a stream of fire coming through his mouth, then yeah, that makes sense. But the little fire on the ground should really only just do slight amounts of damage to you. That shouldn't constantly stun you. I mean, you're not barefoot, are you? I also think his fire should be exclusively purple, because, I mean, he's a purple dragon, you got a purple arena, it fits with the color theme very, very well. I mean, he's got that purple laser beam fire, not that I want the laser beam, like, that attack just shouldn't exist, because it sucks. But when he is breathing fire, I think it should be a kind of a purpley color, because that would make more sense. So seeing a purple dragon breathe red fire, just kind of eh. Or maybe you want, like, a cyan tealish, like, color fire. Either way, just have a consistent one-colored fire, because a dragon shouldn't be breathing 2 kinds of fire. I don't know, I think that's kind of weird. Something else about Midir is you can only lock onto his face. So when you're fighting the dragons in Dark Souls 2, you can change what part of them you lock onto. You can lock onto their ankles, you can lock onto the body, the face. That is super important because it really helps cut down on the camera issues and the camera-caused deaths. A lot of the time, the reason Midir is difficult is because you're looking at his ass and you can't see what he's doing. Camera is also just too close, so I think you should be able to adjust how far away the camera is. That camera is still the bane of From Software's existence. Really, Phase 2 of Midir isn't all that different. I mean, he adds an AoE attack where he, like, sucks in a bunch of purple and then goes, ah! That is obscenely easy to get away from. The only thing you have to do is resist the urge to run in and get free hits. Midir's got a missile attack where he'll send, like, purple humanity sprites at you, and again, pretty easy to dodge. And he only ever did that once, and after that, it was just the same moveset, but, like, a little bit more aggressive. So really, once you get into the swing of things, you learn his moveset. Midir's not a problem at all. Just hit him in the face. That's the best piece of advice. I found that on a Reddit post somewhere, and I'm like, best advice in the world. I think his boss track is a little disappointing, like I said, because really, a From Software boss is 3 things. It's the arena, the track, how they look, and the difficulty. 3 things. But overall, I think Midir's a great boss, and I'm sure there's all kinds of lore and story behind it, and we'll just have to wait for VaatiVidya for that. You will end up using a lot of stamina just getting to Midir because the arena's so big and because he flies so far away. He does move so fast for being a giant dragon, so just you gotta close that distance as quickly as possible because his across the arena attacks are hell on earth, and you want to be right up in his nose. It's also fun trolling the ladder down to the boss for the noobs who aren't good enough and aren't smart enough to just fight him on their own. Jolly cooperation, bitch!